Players take up different roles in a football team, and while some players single position their entire careers, there are some who have been forced to switch to positions they aren't used to. So, did these footballers succeed or fail in these new positions? Stick around to find out. Number 10. Coming up at number 10 is Thierry Henry, a man regarded as one of the best strikers in Premier League history. Things weren't all rosy before he became an Arsenal player. During his time with Juventus, he was fielded as a winger, but even with all his pace and goal-scoring ability, he was an absolute flop with the old lady. At the time, his coach never saw his potential as a central striker, hence his decision to keep using him on the flanks, even though he failed miserably in that role. However, there was one coach who knew exactly what Henry could do as a striker. That coach is none other than Arsene Wenger, who wanted his fellow countryman in his squad at all costs. The deal was eventually sealed in 1999, and Wenger wasted no time in throwing the young French striker into his new position. Still, Henry struggled to find his goal-scoring form. Specifically, he failed to score in his first 7 matches for the Gunners, and that gave the young lad a lot of reason for concern. He even admitted in an interview that at a certain point, he wanted to ask Wenger to return to his position on the flanks. But being the tactical genius Wenger was, he knew it was only a matter of time before his new signee would get used to his new position, pick up the pace, and start stacking up the goals. The French tactician's prediction was spot on, because after a total of 376 appearances for Arsenal, Henry scored an impressive 228 goals. Number 9. Now there are some players who are ready to take on the challenges of any position they are asked to play, and Gareth Bale, who comes in at number 9, is one of them. Do you remember his performance for Tottenham during their Champions League tie against Inter Milan? At the time, Bale wore the number 3 jersey, which of course is a left-back's number, but that didn't stop him from scoring a memorable hat-trick which handed his team a 4-3 win. This was certainly a great moment for Bale, as he was up against an experienced and very talented Maicon. On the flip side, Maicon would like to forget that day, as Bale made a total joke of the iconic Brazilian defender on the night. Fast forward to his days with Real Madrid, and Bale was now playing as an attacking left winger. Of course, he excelled in that role, which goes to show that a footballer can still work magic even when being played out of position. Number 8. Bastian Schweinsteiger is up next, and the energetic winger can be considered among the best in the world during his time. However, he was to abandon his natural role on the flanks when the situation demanded him to. It was the 2014 World Cup final against Argentina, and Sami Khedira had picked up a knock. Toni Kroos was not in his best form, and Christoph Kramer was dealing with a concussion. What else could go wrong for Germany on a day as big as this? Well, thanks to Schweinsteiger's versatility, nothing else went wrong. In fact, his adaptive central midfield play ensured that Germany would take the cup home. Bastian practically decimated the Argentine midfield all by himself in an out-of-role performance that could be considered the greatest in the world. I mean, this man had spent nearly the first decade of his career playing on the flanks, so for him to do so well out of position was simply jaw-dropping. In fact, after seeing how good Schweinsteiger played in the centre, many pundits felt that the wing role was the wrong position for the versatile German. He did push his luck a little bit too far with another role change when he made the move to Chicago Fire in the MLS. Here he played as a centre-back, which was totally out of place for him. Let's just say it's a position he wished he'd never agreed to play. Number 7. Now one player who didn't care about his role change was Javier Mascherano. He was so good for Liverpool that Barcelona wanted him at all cost, but not in his natural midfield position. This is understandable, as Barca's midfield was already choked with the likes of Iniesta, Xavi and Sergio Busquets. Mascherano was great, but he couldn't dethrone Barca's iconic midfield trio. He didn't mind either, which is why he agreed to play the centre-back role for his new team. After all, who wouldn't want to play for Barca regardless of the position? His commitment as a defender was unquestionable, but he didn't shine as much as he used to when he played his natural midfield role for Liverpool. Number 6. Vincent Kompany is up next, and would you believe that the man who many regard as Manchester City's greatest defender and club captain used to play as a midfielder? Yes, during his time at Hamburg, Kompany was one of the best in the Bundesliga. Manchester City's Mark Hughes wanted him, and he paid a huge £6 million to acquire his services. As we all know, he was moved from his natural midfield position to central defence, and in that position, he made several moments of magic for his new team with his die-hard style and trophy-winning mentality. However, he wished he had continued playing in his preferred midfield role, as he admitted in a 2009 interview that his favourite position was in the midfield. Number 5. One man whose favourite position is anywhere up front is Cristiano Ronaldo. With Sporting Lisbon, he played as a winger. Then as a Manchester United player, he took up the central striker role, which was a position that helped him win his first ever Ballon d'Or. Sir Alex Ferguson was well aware of CR7's superb finishing, and that forced him to move Wayne Rooney and Carlos Tevez to supporting roles, leaving Ronaldo at the peak to tuck the ball at the back of the net. Looking back at Ronaldo's astonishing career, you have to give him kudos for making the most of any attacking position he played. Number 4. At number 4, we have Andrea Pirlo, who is one of the best playmakers in the history of the sport. However, during his time playing under Carlo Ancelotti's AC Milan, he was sent to play a deeper midfield role. Playing right in front of the defence wasn't his favourite role, of course, but the legendary Italian tried his best to adapt to his new role as much as he could. He didn't thrive as much as he would have liked to in that role, but hey, he's Pirlo, and he put in decent shifts when called upon. Speaking on how Ancelotti switched up his position, Pirlo said, and I quote, "He changed my career, putting me in front of the defence. We shared some unforgettable moments. We had a magnificent pass together." Number 3. Do you guys remember Antonio Valencia? He comes in at number 3, and he was one player who completely broke under the pressure of a new role. He made waves at Wigan Athletic as a right winger, but after being given the iconic number 7 jersey at Manchester United, his form dipped beyond belief. He was later moved to a more defensive position, and Jose Mourinho, as cocky as he was, once called Valencia the best right back in the world. Number 2. Next is Gareth Barry, the ex-Aston Villa player who showed how versatile he could be in several positions, such as centre-back and left-back. Martin O'Neill was aware of his prowess and decided to try him in the central midfield position. This switch worked pretty well, and it helped him become a regular feature in the national team. He even attracted interest from Manchester City, who he later signed for and won the FA Cup and Premier League with. It didn't stop there though, as his central midfield play also helped him win the hearts of Everton and West Bromwich Albion fans down the line. Number 1. Finally, we're at number 1, and this position belongs to none other than Ryan Giggs. The good news for Manchester United fans is that, even while being played out of position, Giggs showed great quality in his new role. Now, if you've been watching the Welshman from the onset, you would notice that he was a natural right winger. This was the role that shot him up the ladder in his career, as he was quick, direct, skillful, and goal-happy. Speaking of goals, Arsenal fans have not forgotten his wonder goal against them in the 1999 FA Cup semi-final. Years passed and Giggs had lost his pace, but the one thing he didn't lose was his creativity, and Alex Ferguson was smart enough to notice this. For this reason, he started playing Giggs in a more central midfield position, where he thrived at controlling the game and making killer passes, which Cristiano Ronaldo and Wayne Rooney must have been very thankful for. So how many more footballers do you know that have played out of position? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments section. And if you enjoyed watching this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.